guest today is my husband, Dennis Beerman. After working for decades in the weapons industry as a designer with various contractors, Dennis loved to build and fix things, and he used that hobby to build homes with Habitat for Humanity. When he got tired of the folly of the weapons industry, 17 years ago, he sat for and passed the Florida Building Contractor exam. So he's been helping commercial investors and homeowners visualize their renovation dream into reality. Welcome, honey. This is long overdue. All right, so Dennis, you have been busy back to back for the last 2 years. You have a waiting list of clients, booked sometimes as much as 3 months out waiting for you. There's a lot of competition in this remodeling renovation space. Why do you think these people wait to have you versus going with another provider?
I'd say one of the main things is I managed to get some small jobs with the right people who on Facebook have given me personal references. And I've been fortunate to work in one community for the last 2.5 years. My commute to work is no more than 5 miles. That word of mouth reputation, and they know my price is good. They can come and look and see the work I've done, and that is just blossomed for the last 2.5 years.
Literally, the neighbor's telling the neighbor, and you really haven't had to leave the community.
Literally, if there's a Facebook post for this community and someone says, do you know somebody that can do this? My name shows up with 5 likes and 3 hearts, and then I get a phone call.
Yeah, that's how it's been. So tell us about one of your more recent projects.
The most recent one that I just finished about 2 weeks ago was probably the largest one I did. It was a huge, it was a 200 square foot bathroom, and your average bathroom is say maybe 40 or 50 square feet. So it involved removing and relocating the tub, the shower, the sink. The toilet stayed where it was, and we changed the toilet, tiling up the walls, tile on the floor, painting. It was just wall-to-wall complete remodel. It took 2.5 months to complete, and it was just a big job.
And one of the things with my husband is that a lot of contractors will just farm the job out and they show up to check on it, but he's a very hands-on contractor. So and I know that they loved it because you got a lot of
I was getting praise on it before it was finished.
Right. So I'm looking at a project that you posted on Facebook.
Yeah, that one was a small shower where somebody had tiled over the tile floor instead of fixing it, and so all of that broke apart. And for any of you who are interested in doing it, they had repainted the tiles, and it wasn't done professionally, so all the paint was peeling off the tiles. So at that point, there's no fixing, repair. It's tear it out and start over again.
You know, on another note, you were called in on a deposition because you had done an inspection on a property. Someone had just bought it, and there was a bunch of cover-ups. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this was, they've changed the rules since then, but it used to be anybody could do home inspections. And this gentleman called me to do some repair work at his house. And when I was looking at it, I started pointing out a lot of wood at his house, and it was rotted, but it was all painted over. And I started pointing out these issues to him. He ended up getting with the realtor. He ended up tracking down the gentleman that painted the house, and we ended up had to give a deposition because he was taking them to court for the cover-ups that they, just painted over rotted wood and issues with the house. And then he ended up, once that case was settled, he ended up hiring me to fix it.
Yeah, so although he's a building contractor, the laws have kind of changed as to who can do inspections. But the point of that was, guys, when you buy a home, there's usually a seller's disclosure, and the seller is supposed to tell you whatever is wrong with the house. But this was a cover-up. So you want to be able to look out for things like this. It just so happens that, when you have somebody who's qualified, who knows what they're looking for, they can tell the telltale signs of a cover-up, and that unfortunately happens more often than we think. So another thing, Dennis, is some time ago you ran a DIY program for some homeowners. You're really trying to help them figure out maintaining their home to avoid high ticket prices later. What are some of the most DIY projects you encourage homeowners to kind of take care of?
For painting is the first one. It's not that difficult. If you just need a room painted, you have to remember, if you want your whole house painted, you're going to pay, let's just throw a number out there, $2,000 for your whole house to be painted. If you want just one room painted, per square foot, it's not going to be cheaper because somebody still has to come out there, prep, paint. So it's going to cost you more per square foot to paint a room, like a kid's room, than it would for the whole house per square foot. So painting is one. The program that I ran was actually little things like how to tell if an outlet or a switch is bad and how to replace it yourself so that you don't have to call an electrician. A lot of these trades, electricians, plumbers, they're going to charge you $125 just to show up, to tell you what's wrong, to charge you more to fix it. And when you look at the markup on a lot of their prices, a 50-cent outlet, they're going to charge you $5. So if the little things, if you could just learn, to fix around the house, or not so much learn to fix it, but understand what may be wrong so that you're not getting ripped off when somebody comes in to do a repair.
And that does happen. People getting ripped off. And also these days, a lot of men don't really have the skills like in the old days, right? A lot of young men these days don't have these handy skills. So it's not really a bad idea to, if you can get access. There are books out there, and there are lots of YouTube videos these days that have become very helpful. But that brings me to my next point. Sometimes you get these DIYers, or even some professionals where it's not something they do often, or they're new to the business or something, and they'll actually call you up when they're at a challenging situation. Do you see yourself doing more teaching and consulting in the future?
Yeah, it's right now I'm looking at it, but it's hard to price. How much would you be willing to pay for me to come in and consult on a project that you're going to have somebody else do? Yeah, I could come up with a price, but are you willing to pay for that? Because as far as you're concerned, you think you're hiring a reputable person to come in and do the job.
Well, I'm saying, like, if a DIYer wanted to...
A DIYer, yeah. Some of the stuff, it's easy to do depending on the size of the scope you take on. If you just wanted to, say, tile a bathroom floor, it's relatively easy area, as opposed to somebody that said, for my first time, I want to tile my entire 3,000 square foot house, and I want to use the most expensive marble I can find. So yeah, and I would definitely tell someone, look, this is beyond your scope. Start off with this or start off with that. But yeah, because even some of the box stores have some training that they offer, and I've seen some of their training protocol, and it's so generic. They're not going to tell you any of the issues that I can look at and see you're going to run into.
And you have actually had to go in and fix the mess from a DIY project, or even from projects where people just had a regular handyman who probably didn't pull a permit, didn't really know what he was doing, but they're just trying to save some money, and then there's this big mess and you have to come undo it. So, there are times when you probably do want to check with somebody who knows what they're doing, is kind of what I'm getting at there. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
If you're going to hire, first of all, be careful of when someone says they're just a handyman and they want to remodel your entire house. Check references. Make sure that if you can go look and see some of the work they've done. There are so many people out there, especially depending on the way that the housing market goes. When the housing market starts to slow down, anybody who installed drywall or swung a hammer is now considered a remodeling contractor in their own mind. Make sure they're licensed, make sure they're insured. And when I say insured, look at their liability policy, because if I break a pipe in your house and I cause $50,000 worth of damage, I have $1 million policy to cover it. A lot of these people are carrying minimum policies, $10,000, $20,000, and the way they're set up, you will never see them again, because if you file a claim against them, they will just shut their business down and open up under a new name tomorrow. So make sure it's somebody that has a reputation, if somebody you can talk to and see, their work, somebody that you trust says they've had work done there. And the one thing that I do that I know a lot of these guys don't do is I will not take on a job if I know it is above and beyond what I'm capable of doing. I will just tell somebody, hey, look, you need to hire a such and such contractor to do that. So just ask questions, be diligent.
Before I go, there's one other thought that just came to me. Some of these places like the Angie's List and some of these trade, these things that they hire these people, you've had some of them call you, they don't require any insurance, they don't require... I won't name them by names, but there's a lot of these companies that you as a homeowner can go to and they go, oh look, we're going to send you somebody to remodel your kitchen or remodel your bathroom. When I was looking to get on board with some of those, they don't require any proof of insurance or proof of licensure. When I questioned that, they said, well, the homeowner can ask if they want to. Because they're really just lead farms. They're just creating leads for contractors, but whomever is going to pay them for the lead. And so you want to be careful of those places, because they will tell you they're sending somebody and you're looking at the reputation of that company, but they're sending somebody that's not an employee or anything up there. So, well, thank you so much, honey. This was long overdue. And if you happen to be in the Tampa Bay area and you need someone to do a remodeling project for you, FAS Reconstruction, F like Frank, FAS Reconstruction.com. Thank you so much, honey. Dennis Beerman, for finally being on PSI TV.
Thank you for finally asking me.
All right, guys. Thanks. Bye.